You could call this a good old-fashioned butt-whooping.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my show. Today's subject is something I've wanted to cover for a long time, but never really found the moment to do it. The one thing that is causing players to put down their phones and stop playing the game. Not only that, we've got Last Man Standing to talk about some really odd happenings in the pack store, which could be leading towards what I've been speaking about recently, which is a brand new tier dropping. But I think Cat Daddy have got a few things to sort out with the game first. Before we get started though, if you think this should change, make sure you hit that thumbs up button whilst you're watching the video, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. And let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are about this subject. So there are a bunch of things that I have problems with, and I've had problems with for a long time with this game. Being somebody who's played since Season 1, since day one, I may add, by accident. I was actually searching for the WWE Network, and through a VPN, I managed to find this game on the day of release instead of the WWE Network whilst I was on holiday. You know, guys, I'm not going to go into it. There's a few things I can rattle off the tongue, such as the fact that, well, before, when they were throwbacks and Hall of Fame cards, they weren't pullable, or they weren't available enough for free players. My constant battle with keeping free players and pay-to-play players happy, even if some people will say that I am heavily biased towards pay-to-play players, is simply not the case. Now you got the Extreme Edition cards, but the Extreme Edition cards, they have recently bought a quest out. Hopefully they'll do that more often now. In fact, you can't change your Last Man Standing deck, which is an absolute pain in the backside. I mean, I had to delete a support to be able to make sure that I could have two managers, and that is just crazy. Even just changing the managers will be good enough. More ads for free players, for example. Cost of packs in the pack store should be lower, although ironically that's not a problem today because we're going to go through that in some detail in a moment. But my biggest issue, and the biggest issue according to the community anyway, from what I see on Twitter, YouTube comments and on my Twitch streams, is leveling. Oh boy, this is a big one. You see, when Wwe Supercard Season 6 came out, they changed a lot of things about the game, the way it plays, including the way you play matches. Now, if you weren't in Season 5, Season 4, Season 3, and Season 2, then this is going to be completely alien to you, because what you had to do was play 40 matches in each stat. So you had to have power, toughness, speed, charisma, and also have your ability triggered 20 times. And that would give you a fully leveled pro. You then had to level up the cards in experience, which was quite a lot easier than most people expected, but they changed that for Season 6. In Season 6, they went towards a model which was more based around playing 100 total games instead of in specific stats, and a more defined XP leveling system. Not to mention, back in November 2019, crazy to say it's another year now, Performance Center was released, and it came with not only in-ring conditioning, but gym workouts. The problem with the gym workout, as you can see, is it costs 300 credits, which locks it out completely to free players, and that's not cool. I don't like that certain things are locked out, and I've personally, because of that point, never used the gym workout at any stage during the official, not just the pre-release, but the official game release. Unfortunately, now it is a necessity to take cards out of your deck and remove cards, or alternatively play a grueling amount of time to push your cards up levels in the game. To give you an example of this, we have two Roman Reigns here, one of which I got from a King of the Ring, which is a pro, and I need that the most. I've also got a couple other cards here, but I'm going to show you the difference. If I level up Roman Reigns now with, we got, you know, we'll use this SummerSlam 19 Universal Support card. Let's press this. This is going to go up to 37 levels. Now you'd expect that the rest of the way to go up to the top would be relatively easy, not necessarily too difficult, maybe not easy, that's probably the wrong word, but at least give you the opportunity to focus on some of these other cards, which I've not touched at all. Instead, you're effectively forced to focus on one card at a time. Because if we go to the level 90s, and let's go for a Shattered, for example. Let's go 2 Shattered cards, because that would basically equal a SummerSlam card. If we go 2 Shattered cards, it barely even goes up 1 or 2 levels. And those cards are kind of mid to higher level. They're not even the lower level card. And if we were to try with a lower level card, let's say this Gothic card, which is more likely to be dropped off the board, as you can see there, it just doesn't work. Not only that, but the other issue, which I personally have and many other players have, is that the effectiveness of using existing cards you have to trade up these new cards. If you was to take, for example, this John Cena, which is a level 1 Fortify, which is a very powerful card, fully maxed out, this would probably only get me 90 levels, or even 83 levels. I think actually it's 83 levels on a card. Pro or single or even fortified. It doesn't give anywhere near the amount it should for the amount of time you've taken to level it, to then pro it, to then put into maybe a fortified. I trained a Fortify 3 Shawn Michaels the other day from the Primal Winter Fusions, you may remember it, and it only got me to level 88 on a brand new pro I was preparing, which was, if I'm not wrong, probably China, which is just ludicrous and quite laughable. At least you would expect it to go to the absolute max like it's done in previous games, as you're trading one card for another, but no, it is effectively saying that your card at that point is worthless to the card you're leveling up. And it's the same across all tiers. Throwing in a Vanguard or a Vanguard Pro or even the Fortify levels actually only gives you a slight boost when compared to a Primal card or a Nightmare card, for example, which unfortunately does fly in the face of some of the comments they've made about making this game more attractive for casual players. And I'm not saying that's the only thing flying in the face of that claim, but I digress. There are several changes that need to be made, and these are only, an opinion and some suggestions. What I'm not saying is they make it ludicrously easy, but a couple of tweaks would keep people happy. In some cases, to reach other tiers, I've had to use cards which I didn't want to, which flies in the face of a card collecting game when you actually have to get rid of those cards. So the solution to that is to give each card a little bit more XP. It doesn't need to change too much, but the biggest changes for me need to come in 2 areas. One, and that is when you're training away pro cards or cards that have been leveled up and you're effectively choosing to upgrade, you should get the full value that that provides, or at least close to the full value that that applies across to the brand new card. And that really is just to give a satisfactory experience for the user. The second thing they need to do is they need to open up the performance center, even if it's just for the first one, free for all people. After that, you can charge the 300 credits. I understand that that's the harder route to go down now. They've switched it around from the playing matches to leveling. Given that next to no one's using this right now, I can't see a problem with at least reducing this down to free, or even just giving people 1 or 2 cards per week that they can put into this, and then making it 300 credits per time just to make sure it's not too easy. Considering it takes 5 to 6 days, if not more, and on top of that costs about 3,500 credits just to level a card up to the maximum, this is an issue that needs to be seriously and quickly resolved. And personally, I hope they're looking into doing it soon, because a lot of casual players who started playing the game have simply decided that it's too time consuming. And I don't blame them, especially when that new shiny card they've got, that new shiny pro, takes them a week plus to level up, given that they are casual players. It could take days at a time, and that's just not the experience I personally think that the players want. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now I move on to something a little bit different, a little bit more positive, and that is about a brand new tier. Now this is something that I am really confused about. Please tell me if you're confused as well. Next week we have a brand new Giants Unleashed dropping in, and it says Stomps back into action with a new card. Then that's going to give us one of two things, in my opinion. That's going to give us either a Seth Rollins because of the Stomp as the finisher, or the Curb Stomp, Blackout, whatever you want to call it. And the other option is potentially Rhea Ripley. Again, that's just my opinion, but based on that, given that Rhea Ripley does a Stomp before she does her finisher, that would give me, and she does it on the stage as well when she's doing her entrance, I think that's a hint of who we're getting next week. It also says last chance to finish the Hacksaw Quest objective. Quest ends 1:15, which is Wednesday. Hang on a second though, wasn't it 1:16 before this? But I can imagine they're going by Pacific hours, so whilst it does say the 16th, it actually is the 15th now, which makes more sense for a new tier or something big to come out, which is what has been suggested many times. But that post saying there's a new Giants Unleashed event coming out, it says to me that that isn't the case, unless they're trying to do a big surprise, and that is where there's a lot of confusion at the moment. The biggest thing for me is this LMS booster. Now originally this is 360 credits for the first two, and it's the first time that this has become unlimited across the game's history of Last Man Standing events. So this is very interesting indeed. On top of that, you also got the Primal Pro, which gives you the 20 lumber. So if you've been holding back, right now is the best time to get yourself the Hacksaw Jim Duggan. But that 20% off is a big drop from the 9,500, I have to check that then, cost it was beforehand. And usually when they're discounted that hard, it means that there is something else on the horizon. And then you look at a 25% off of all packs, and that gives more indication. But the news states otherwise. And the lack of communication from Cat Daddy, Wwe Supercard isn't helping. And just to make up the difference of your feelings, I put a post on the community section of my page, which gave a vote. I think 8,000 plus people took part in that, where overwhelmingly the winner was that they believed a brand new tier was going to be coming this week or next week. We have to wait and see what comes out from Cat Daddy, because at the moment they are giving nothing away. And they're being very quiet. Usually when they're very quiet, something's on the horizon. In terms of LMS, I am currently 83rd in the world. I'm not particularly going that hard. I think it's kind of been a nice leisurely stroll, this Last Man Standing. It's not been too difficult. Mainly because of the deck I've got, but there's various other things as well. Plus, I've been using multipliers instead of using massive blocks. I've obviously been hauling a lot of reveals and blocks from those new packs as well, because it's half the price of what it should be. So I'd like to know in the comment section where you are in Last Man Standing, as well as your thoughts on the subject I mentioned in the comments down below. Make sure you are hitting the like button if this is something you'd like to change, or if you agree or disagree. It'd bring more discussion to the topic if people do disagree or agree. And whilst you're there, make sure you are subscribing to the channel, and if you're not, make sure you are turning your notifications on so you don't miss a single video that comes out. I think the next couple of days are going to get very interesting, if not the next week afterwards. All the signs are there. It's just whether the switch is going to get pressed. One last shout out, and that is to anyone who showed up on the YouTube and Twitch streams last night. It was good to have you there. Make sure you've hit that follow button on twitch.tv/SuperZomgbBBQ, or the link that's in the description below, and hopefully I'll see you there later. Until next time though, have a good one and stay awesome.